Right now, Derrick Henry was a free agent this offseason, and most teams just sat on their hands and said, we're good. Well, fast forward to week 8, and Lamar Jackson is talking about him breaking the all-time rushing record. Take a listen.
It's there. Like, I feel like he has a great chance of achieving that. I think he can do it.
Okay, Brew, here's the numbers. So he's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record if he can keep up this, pace of running. So, are you buying that he can break the record?
What's this? There might be 2 records broken this season. The rushing record. And how many times can I be right this season about running backs?
That's true.
Tony Pollard, they die for him in Dallas right now.
I didn't know you were going to Tony Pollard stuff.
Saquon Barkley balling out in Philadelphia.
2 for 2.
And Derrick Henry.
So we're not, Brew, so we're not even, let me just hit it then, because we're clearly not even doing this to talk about Derrick Henry. We're just doing a Nick Wright version of the Trevor Trash Hour.
What is this?
Nick
knew this was coming.
Trying to do. You guys, the whole reason this is in the show is because you guys are trying to make fun of me because I don't tend to believe in old running backs.
Yeah.
And this appears to be the year of the old running backs. So go ahead. You want, Greg, you see my fastidious prep? Here's what it says under the Derrick Henry thing. Har, 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 mock Nick. That's all I've written down.
Wiles
so go
put
ahead.
me up to that. Wiles put me up to that, fed me lines and everything. So
exactly.
I actually think it is a really good, serious discussion. I think my fear, but I feel like the thing that could hold him back is he may not get enough carries. Like, he's only averaging 19 carries a game. He's only on pace for 325 carries. Everybody on that list, everybody that's run for 2,000 yards a year has gone at least 330 carries. Now, if he averages 6.5 yards a game the rest of the season, which, you got to worry about Lamar and they got a passing game, so maybe. But it's hard for me to think he's going to average 6.5 yards a carry this year if he has to keep breaking these long runs, because obviously he has some 2-yard, 3-yard runs too. So I would say probably not. I think he can get close to 2,000, but I just don't know if they're going to give it to him enough to have enough carries.
I actually think he can get it done. If Lamar in the passing game continues to play at the level that they're playing, he doesn't need all those carries because he's going to break those long runs. And then once the weather shifts, I just don't believe that they're going to be dropping back, throwing the ball all around the way that they are right now. They're going to probably lean more into being more Derrick Henry-centric and allowing their running game to be established earlier rather than after the passing game.
Do you think they'll be – I wonder, too, are they going to give it to him that much because they want to save him for
so that was going to be my answer. The Ravens fans shouldn't want him to. He already has a 2,000-yard season.
Right. Yeah.
And if he beats it by 15 yards, I won't be one of those people. But do you know what you're going to start hearing a bunch of? It was a 16-game season. Now it's a 17-game season. And people will be like, well, OJ did it in 14 games. And then we just do this whole thing. So it's not even like this is a really – obviously it's an important record.
He might win MVP if he broke it.
Correct. But I just think –
that would be interesting.
Yes, but I just think – for the Ravens, I think the Ravens hope to be in a position where they can sit him for a game or two. Not consecutively, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with Nick right there, which I know a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans most definitely, are not too high on Nick these days because of all the comments about Lamar Jackson. But I do agree in that regard in terms of I don't know how important this record is. In football, records really aren't that important, right? This isn't baseball where it's like you want to get these home runs and all of that. I mean, like, off the top of your head, the average person has no idea who has the most touchdowns in a single season and what number is it. What wide receiver has the most touchdowns in a single season and what number is it? Who has the most yards, right? Like, no one knows that. I guarantee you the average football fan who maybe wasn't around during those days for Dickerson probably wouldn't have even known. They probably, I bet you people that were maybe born in, I don't know, like the 80s, 90s would probably been like Emmitt Smith or something, right? Peterson, like I guarantee you. Like, again, I'm sure some of the people who really know football and are all up to date with all that, maybe you guys all do. I'm just talking about like the average people. So I don't know how much it fundamentally even matters. Like, I think obviously it'll be cool for Derrick Henry to get another accolade and all of that, and to look back and be like, hey, I'm the leading rusher, yada, yada, yada. But I just don't know how necessary it is to even try to pursue. And if anything, like, this year it is all about winning the Super Bowl. This year is all about having Henry rush for 189 yards against a Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game, winning that game 35-20. Because Derrick Henry's just getting fed the ball and they just can't stop him. And when they do try to stop him, Lamar Jackson throws the ball 30 yards down the field for a touchdown. Right? Like, that's what this year is all about. That's what this whole year is all about. It's not about individual accolades. It's not about proving that Derrick Henry still has it. It's about winning a ring. It's about being the champion. It's about building a truly winning Super Bowl culture. So that's what it's got to be all about. And again, I don't know Derrick Henry's body, but I do know physical fitness in general in that regard. And yeah, you want to preserve your back. You want to preserve your players like this. So yeah, the best case scenario is that he gets to say, because I was thinking like this, and I know football's not played this way, and I know the real old school people are going to be like, you play to play, and all that type of stuff. But I'm like, oh, the Browns, they don't even need Derrick Henry. Have him sit this game. And again, I know they're not going to do that, and I don't think that they necessarily should. I say that, tongue in cheek, but it's like, yeah, who needs it? The Browns, you should be able to dominate the Browns. You just want to rest. Because there was at that one point when the game really got wide open against the Bucs, and it is, because look what happened, speaking of the Bucs. Look what happened to those players, right? Godwin and Edmonds. So it's those things happen. I mean, every football fan knows injuries can be devastating. And so it's not only wear and tear and cumulative fatigue, but then it's also just random bad luck. So at this point, and I don't know how you guys watch football, but I'm like this, maybe because I've had so many injuries in my life, and countless surgeries. Like, so often in games when I'm starting to get real high on a team or really excited about them, again, just look at what happened with Aiden, in a blowout win against the Cowboys. Those things are devastating. And I know that those things can happen. I do. But, like, I so many times I, like, hold my breath. I'm like, like, Lamar Jackson took a shot, against the Bucs. And it was like, oh, my God, are you okay? Please be okay. Please just stand up. You're good, right? No concussion, no nothing. You're looking around. Everything's all good. Perfect. Don't ever do that again, right? Like, I mean, that's how I watch at this point, because I know how easily someone can get injured. So it's just this record in a lot of ways means nothing, right? It in a lot of ways, it really means nothing. And they kind of talk about this too when teams have like an undefeated streak going, where it's like it is actually more harmful for them to keep trying to keep that streak going, because even when they're up by a lot or whatever the game may be, you start to make decisions or put players out there, they work harder in a way that's actually too much, and it actually ends up hurting your team. So do I buy that Henry could pass Dickerson? 1,000%. To be very clear, he 1,000% absolutely positively could pass. Will he? Depends how this season unfolds, more than anything. But I think the Ravens want to lock this up, want to be as healthy as they possibly can, obviously going into the playoffs. And it's just all about business, man. It's all about playoffs. No one cares if Lamar gets the MVP and Henry passes Dickerson and then they lose first round in the playoffs. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They don't want to be like, oh, Derrick Henry looked tired in the AFC Championship game. They've just been relying on him so much, because then that'll be the talk. Was Derrick Henry going for the record too much? Should Harbaugh have stuck to his original quote where he said, we didn't bring in Henry to rush 15 attempts or, 20 attempts or whatever number he said, 25 attempts? Right? Like, that'll be the storyline, rather than Derrick Henry rushes for 200 yards in AFC Championship game. Lamar throws for 300. Ravens roll to the Super Bowl, favored by 10 to win. Like, that's the story that they want, right? throughout the Super Bowl, they want people to be arguing back and forth who's going to win the Super Bowl MVP, the Lamar or Derrick Henry. That will be that's what Ravens fans want this conversation to become. Who's going to win the MVP in the Super Bowl because they're up by 21 going into the fourth quarter? I don't know. Derrick Henry does have 2 touchdowns and rushed for 155 yards, but Lamar has thrown for 17 for 20, 220 yards, a touchdown, a touchdown pass, and a rushing touchdown. Right? Those are the conversations and debates that Ravens fans want. Not this. Or after the MVP's already been given, should have Derrick Henry run the MVP? Should have Lamar won the MVP? Doesn't matter because the Ravens won the Super Bowl. So, yeah, conversations like this are, kind of like, meh, whatever. That's to me. But I'm curious how either just, strictly Derrick Henry fans feel or Baltimore Ravens fans feel. Definitely would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.